removed because it was toxic. And Moffett Field's got another toxic problem. A plume 1.5 miles long and 1/2 mile wide of trichloroethylene in groundwater. TCE causes cancer, birth defects, neurological problems, and other diseases. And EPA has been working with the Navy, NASA, and the electronics industries here to clean it up for nearly 4 decades because it's a Superfund site. Placed a little picture of some poplar trees in the middle because that's where Intrinsics Corporation, working with NASA, is using an innovative technology to clean up the groundwater. The innovative technology is called trees, and the process is called phytoremediation. The conventional way of cleaning up the groundwater, which is what they started doing in the 1980s, is called pump and treat. Using pumps, they remove contaminated groundwater from the underground, run it through carbon filters, and release it into the environment. The carbon filters are occasionally sent to an Indian reservation or some similar place where they're incinerated, also spreading contamination in the environment, maybe not as large a degree. The poplar trees, where they work, do a better job. So what Intrinsics did is working with the University of Washington, they came up with bacteria that can be used to treat poplar cuttings before they're planted. And the trees that are treated with this particular bacteria actually grow better and break down the TCE. You can see here, the trees that are flourishing are the ones that have been treated. The ones that aren't doing so well, those have been toxified by the TCE. The poplar trees that have been treated with this bacteria do not collect contamination in their leaves or wood. They do not release contamination into the environment to the air, and they break down the TCE in groundwater. This table shows what happened after 3 years. Not only did the TCE break down to where it was barely detectable, but it didn't transform into other toxic products as is done with many other technologies. So again, the TCE breakdown did not create vinyl chloride at this site. EPA is looking beyond this pilot, which has been operating for several years at Moffett Field, to perhaps using the poplar trees as a way of part of a new remedy for treating groundwater throughout the plume. It's one of several technologies under consideration, and chances are several technologies will be used. When EPA makes these decisions, they use the 9 criteria of the National Contingency Plan. First 2 have to be met, the next 5, consider them against each other. Community acceptance is where I come in. I'm a member of the Restoration Advisory Board overseeing the cleanup of Moffett Field. And I gotta tell you that communities love trees, not just at Moffett Field, but throughout the country. Communities love the idea of using trees to clean up the environment. But trees don't necessarily do the job everywhere. Depends upon the contaminant. The Intrinsics treated trees do very well with TCE. You have to make sure that heavy metals aren't there because the heavy metals will cause a problem and need to be disposed of. It can be done in certain soils, maybe not others. It's not good for treating soil gas. If the concentration of TCE is too high, it could kill the trees. There are parts of the plume at Moffett Field where the contamination with TCE is still orders of magnitude above what we're finding at the test plots for the poplar trees. How large is the area you have to treat? Will the trees get down to the level of contamination in the groundwater? Some groundwater contamination is hundreds of feet deep. Poplar trees don't work for that. Can you get onto the site? Will the trees interfere with the operation of the facility? There's a runway nearby. You can't plant trees in the runway. And also there's a question of future use. NASA is planning to build 2,000 units of housing, badly needed housing, right in the area on the map where the trees are located. But there's a solution. The developer is planning to move the trees to the freeway, along the freeway, so not only will they clean up the TCE, but they will prevent noise from the freeway affecting the people who are living in the housing on the site. Here's a photo of the poplar trees after 4 years. It's been a very successful pilot, and depending upon how EPA evaluates their use, they will probably be used elsewhere at Moffett Field to do additional cleanup, and they can be used in many parts of the country in many environments. If you have any questions about military contamination, about TCE, email me and I'll be glad to talk to you. My organization runs 2 internet news groups. You're welcome to subscribe for free. I recently watched the Nova show about climate change, and they pointed out that perhaps one of the best technologies for addressing climate change is trees. And that may be also true for treating TCE, which is one of the most common contaminants at Superfund sites throughout the United States. Thank you.